Some of our students wait in meditation too long, or they spend too much time at one time in meditation until meditation becomes a mental practice instead of a spiritual awareness. It is far better when you sit down to meditate to realize, now the kingdom of God is within me. The kingdom of God can reveal itself to me as I listen. That still small voice is within me and can utter itself. And so my function is just to be here, be still, and let it. Now, if you only can wait 20 seconds in complete stillness, that's enough. And the fact that you do not get a response means nothing. You do not need a response. We're not trying to satisfy the intellect. We're trying only through the unconditioned mind to be a state of receptivity to the truth that is within us. And if we make this practice in this way, eventually, by doing it 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times a day, even if for 20 seconds, you begin to increase in depth of listening, in depth of silence, in depth of unconditioning, and you surprise yourself by discovering after a while that you've been a whole minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes in a meditation without having to have a mental exercise going on. So it is. It does require patience, it does require practice, but remember that the best practice you can have is to realize that this presence is within me. It makes no difference whether I'm in a church or out. The place whereon I stand is holy ground. God is just as much down in the coal mine or in the kitchen. It makes no difference where I am. The thing is that I must be still long enough to give this presence a chance to express itself. And if I can only be still for 10, 15, 20 seconds, I have begun the process of unconditioning, the process of emptying out, the process of creating a vacuum, and then one of these days when we're not really expecting it, the experience will happen. Sometimes we're too eager for it and want it to happen right away. We forget that we have had generations behind us that have made it difficult, if not almost impossible, for us really to get back to the kingdom of God, and we have to be patient with ourselves until we do come. It won't be too late. It'll never be too late. But we have to begin and we have to be patient. But also we have to know what we are doing. When we go into meditation, it is to receive the presence and the power of God. You know, we don't have to tell God about our problem. We don't have to explain to God that it's the right knee or the left foot. We don't have to explain to God that it's a problem of business or finance or government. None of that. We have only to go within to experience the presence of God, because the presence of God is the power of God, and where the presence of God is, there is no evil. You find when you have experienced the presence of God that whatever that discord was, whatever the nature of the appearance, mental, moral, physical, financial, it evaporates. To our human sense, we think of it as an overcoming of error, but it isn't. It really isn't, because there are not two powers. There's not an overcoming power. When Jesus said, "I have overcome the world," you know he did not mean that he had overcome the Hebrew synagogue. And he certainly had not overcome Caesar. He had not overcome the external world at all. He overcame the world consciousness within himself, the material consciousness, the belief in two powers, the belief in good and evil. He had overcome within himself this world consciousness. He was enabled to say, my kingdom is not of this world, because he had overcome this world within himself. He no longer had two powers. He no longer had to work against one power. He no longer had to overcome it, because he had overcome the consciousness of duality within himself. He no longer had a spiritual universe and a material universe. He no longer had spiritual power and material power. He no longer had health and disease.